Keep going because I've started and I can't stop, which is how I ended up with all these games in the first place, right? Okay, so over here we have Exodus Proxima Centauri, known to devotees of the Dice Tower as Twilight Imperium 3 Lite. I really like 4X computer games, so I wanted one for my board game collection. I've sort of learned this one, but I've never completed a game. I may like this style of game better when it's just me versus the computer. I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't in the right head place at the time I was learning it. Then we have Fury of Dracula. This game, everybody was really excited when this game came back into print. I think it was last year. And I think they're going to be very sad because it's a Fantasy Flight production of a Games Workshop owned property, so it's probably going out of print again. This is a hidden movement game. One player plays Dracula, a horribly misunderstood Transylvanian gentleman of good stock and breeding and very cultured, and the up to 4 other players play vampire hunters from the novel, and they're chasing this poor guy around Europe, trying to find him and kill him while he is attempting to spawn additional vampires and stay alive long enough to defeat them. It's a really, really good game. Its reputation is well deserved. If you can get it without paying a fortune for it now, the 3rd edition, everybody says is kind of the best designed one. And we have Favor of the Pharaoh. Favor of the Pharaoh is a dice game. You roll different combinations of dice and use those to buy tiles that give you abilities for subsequent rolls, and you're trying to build up to a target number to be able to win the game. It is a re-implementation of the game called To Court the King, which I haven't played, but I really quite like Favor of the Pharaoh. The theme is very thin, but the game is a lot of fun. And we have Wiz War. Wiz War is a wild and woolly mage versus mage combat game where you are trying to get points by either killing your opposing mages or stealing their treasure or some combination of both. Haven't played it. Supposed to be a lot of fun. Some people say it's too random and doesn't have enough depth. Other people say it's a lot of fun and it's kind of a beer and pretzels game. Who will win? I don't know. We'll find out. And we have Vinos, a very heavy wine-themed game by Vital Lacerda, one of the kings of the very heavy Euro game. I inherited this as a hand-me-down after my father got the gorgeous, incredibly overproduced special edition that just came out, and I haven't learned how to play it yet. I'm really excited to. It looks really good, but I haven't learned it. We have Spirits of the Rice Paddy. This is a game about Balinese rice farming and your relationship with bugs in your rice field and the different spirits of the countryside. It's really good, and it has little bug meeples. What's not to like? Then we have Mission Red Planet. Mission Red Planet is an action selection game with area control aspects, and this is another one that requires a dummy player for playing a 2-player game, and I haven't learned it. Although I've read the rulebook, I could probably teach it, but I haven't actually played it yet. Okay. We have Arkham Horror, the card game. Everybody's drooling over this game. It looks really good. I haven't played it yet. Elder Sign. It's kind of Arkham Horror, the dice game. I have a love-hate relationship with this game. I'm hoping that adding expansions to it will bring it more towards the love side. Again, like King of New York, I worry that might be throwing good money after bad, though. There's a tremendous amount of luck in this game. When it goes well, it's a lot of fun. If it goes completely poorly, it's just being kicked in the gut over and over and over again. And you get to a point where you've spent so many of your resources trying to beat previous tasks that you don't have anything to amp yourself up for subsequent tasks, and then you just toast. Thunderstone Advance. This one is temporarily out of print because it's being brought back in a 3rd edition called Thunderstone Quest. Tried to play this once, got really frustrated, and found out that we were playing several rules very wrong. So I haven't gone back to it since. So shame on me. We have Trains Rising Sun. These are all deck builders. Trains Rising Sun is a deck builder like Thunderstone, if I didn't say that. It's a deck builder with route building train style game. I haven't run this one yet. Core Worlds may be my favorite deck building game. It's a sci-fi theme. It's very thinky. It can be really long if you play with more than a couple of players. I really, really like it. It's really good. Legendary. This is a lot of people's favorite deck building game, and I find it kind of blah. Now, I've only played it a couple times. But I don't know. It feels like Ascension, which I liked and played the hell out of, but with a Marvel theme and some other sort of mechanics added. And maybe it's just because I overplayed Ascension and that I'm not giving Legendary a fair shake because of the similarities. It's not a bad game. I just don't get the hype. Eminent Domain. I like the base game. I really want to like it more. I think expansions would help, which is why I have both expansions, but I haven't actually played with them yet because every time I get this game out to play it, I'm playing it with somebody who hasn't played it before, and it just doesn't make sense to add expansions. It feels a lot like Roll for the Galaxy or Race for the Galaxy, but when you're selecting your actions for the turn, you're actually taking cards of that action into your deck. So you're skewing your resources more and more in that direction. It's good. I think it will be better with expansions, though. We have Xenoshift Onslaught is famously described as Starship Troopers, the board game, and it's a fair comparison. Xenoshift, in Xenoshift, you're a corporate marines sent down to the surface of a planet to hold off aliens while you harvest an incredibly volatile resource that is mutating the flora and fauna into these horrible creatures. But it's a deck builder where it's cooperative and you have a shared life total, and you can play cards from your deck on other players' sectors of the base to help them out, at which point they become parts of their deck. This is really hard and really well done. Definitely check it out if you don't mind kind of grotesque, monstrous alien art. It's good. We've got Safranito, a game I've done a how to play video on already. It's a dexterity game where you're throwing chips to bid on spices. It's more exciting than that sounds. It's a good, fun entry-level game. Then we have Shadowrun Crossfire. I really want to like this game. It is punishingly hard. I need to suck it up and go back to playing it and try and get better. Roll for the Galaxy, a brilliant game. Buy this game if you don't have this game. If you do have this game, you should be playing it more. Time Stories. Once again, we revisit the fact that I apparently have terrible taste because everybody loves Time Stories. I don't get it. I'm with the shut up and sit down guys on this one. Now, I only have the base entry scenario, which has its own issues because I really disagree with the portrayal of the mentally ill as stereotypes. But gameplay-wise, I don't get it. It's a neat concept. Maybe it's because I'm such a computer and video gamer, because a lot of what it's doing is emulating in a board game form how a computer or video game would work. So I'm not that wowed by it. The art is justifiably considered amazing. The combat is boring, and there's a certain amount of having to do things over again just to optimize, and that's not fun. We have Hive. Hive is an absolutely brilliant two-player abstract strategy game. If you like that sort of thing, like chess for instance, get Hive. It's awesome. I'm actually not that big of an abstract gamer, so I don't play it as often as I should because it's really good. Heroes Wanted. It's a randomly generated superhero game. It has some clever ideas. Like one of the scenarios, you're fighting an enemy who's jaywalking, so they can move across streets without using the crosswalks, but you can't. some cute stuff like that. I thought I was going to like it. I've only played it once, but I really wasn't impressed. I need to give this one away or sell it or something, and I just haven't done it. Forbidden Desert, really good. If you like Forbidden Island, I think Forbidden Desert is better. If you like Pandemic, you should get Forbidden Desert. It's ridiculously reasonably priced. It is in a round-sided tin, which is awful, but life goes on. We have Bananagrams. Scrabble's one of my wife's favorite games. We have Sleuth. You can tell it's my wife's because it's shrink-wrapped, which means we haven't played it yet. If it was mine and we hadn't played it yet, it would be completely open, punched, and bagged, and organized. I got it for her because she likes Alchemists and Clue, and it's a deduction game, and it's faster and easier to teach, supposedly. But I didn't realize that it requires at least 3 players, which is why we haven't learned it. Doctor Who, the card game, also my wife's, also shrink-wrapped. No idea if this is any good, but we both like Doctor Who. You need to give it a try. We have Shea Geek, an artifact of an earlier age. Shea Geek is a great way to pass time, especially when you're in college, because it's thematically appropriate. It's an okay game. We have Mealborns. This is the copy that I played in my childhood, so it is near and dear to my heart. So we have Tides of Time and Tides of Madness. These are both drafting micro games. 2-player only. You draft a small number of cards that change the way you score and allocate you points, and you pick one of those cards to move along to subsequent rounds. Tides of Madness is better, I think, because it adds another strategic wrinkle on top of that, in that you can force your opponent to go mad, at which point they automatically lose. Alright, we have Samurai Sword, which is the Japanese-themed and woodblock art-styled and more complicated version of Bang, the card game. It's okay. I like the art. My group doesn't really do hidden role games that much, or social deduction games, which Bang has a little bit of, so maybe that's part of it. I don't know. We have Dark Tales. Haven't played it yet. Picked it up at Gen Con. Kind of interested. It's supposed to be kind of good, but maybe it was a bad buy. I don't know. We have Sushi Go, which is another great entry-level drafting game for people. I use it for getting people into the hobby. This rather boring-looking box is Push It. Push It is awesome. It's like Crokinole without the board. If you don't know what Crokinole is, that's probably because the board was too big for everyone you knew. It is, think of it this way, it's like bocce ball on a table with discs instead of balls. Okay, we have Diamonds. Diamonds is a trick-taking game. I have not played it yet because I'm not really a trick-taking game person, but this is supposed to be real good. Maybe it will convert me. We will find out someday, not today. We have Tiny Epic Galaxies. I'm going to say what everybody says about Tiny Epic Galaxies. It's really good. It should not be tiny. The tiny part is a pain, but the game is great. Really looking forward to getting my hands on the expansion, but I didn't kickstart it, so it'll probably be a while. Codenames. Everybody says Codenames is awesome, and I got Codenames specifically for gaming weekends, like the one I'm hosting and making this video for. Have not played it. Spyfall. Another great party game. Supposed to be great for gaming weekends. That's why I got it for last year's. I haven't played it, but I know the rules because it's really simple. Both of these are really simple and easy to learn. Okay. We have Jaipur. Jaipur is a great 2-player set collection game and hand manipulation game. Highly recommended if you're looking for something 2-player and fairly short. We have Valley of the Kings. These are shockingly small box deck builder games. I really like the base Valley of the Kings game. I'm less of a fan of Last Rites, which is the third in the series, and I have not played the second in the series. Oh, there's other stuff in here. There's Brave Rats, which is a 2-player sort of rock, paper, scissors game. There's Gloomhaven, which my wife quite likes, which is sort of a storytelling game where you're trying to have bad things happen to bad people and then kill them off when they're most sad, while your opponents are trying to screw you up by making them happy. We have Infinite Dungeon, which is supposed to be a lot of fun, kind of